You guys were supposed to test next class. But I feel like that's like kind of soon. Cause like I've like barely been here as of yesterday. So what the plan is we're gonna do all the log cosine and log sines questions today. Then we're gonna take a break. And then on Monday, we'll do all the area questions and then you'll test on Wednesday. That way you're not like testing after a long weekend. You have a little bit of time to let the material work in. Good? Okay, everybody has a calculator? Not yet? I did. It's like something's difficult. Yeah. Okay. So if you will, please, we're going to do log sines first because I think that one's easier. So right here, let's put it. Sine A over A. Sine B over B. Oops. Sorry. And then sine C over C. Make sure that your top row, all of those should be capital letters. And your bottom fractions, those should all be lowercase letters. Does anybody know what the difference is if it's capital versus lower? Okay, very good. So if it's a capital letter, that means that it's an angle. And if it's a lowercase, that means that it's a side length. Okay. Now, one other thing is the way this sub or videos or whatever taught this. Okay, they did a lot of like, is it side angle side or angle side or angle? I don't really love that as much. So I'm going to teach it a little bit differently. But if you like that and you're good at that, then it's the same. Okay, law of sines you're going to use when you have the same letter, both the angle and the side. So I'm going to call them partners. Okay, so I'm going to put use when you have partners, capital and lower of the same letter. Okay, you're going to use law of sines whenever you have a capital and a lowercase of the same letter. We're going to call them partners. So if you will, please take a look at number 2. Now, for number 1 and number 2, if you read the instructions, it tells you that the measure of angle C is 90. So I'm just going to add that here. But that's really for both number 1 and number 2. Okay. So taking a look at number 2, we see that we have partners. We have both capital A and little a. Does anyone want scratch paper? Because we're solving the whole triangle. Okay. Here we go. Yes. Maybe. You want one or are you good? Back here, good? You think so? You good for you? Doing something. Good? Hey, you want that? I know, just waddling around. Oh, you do want one? All right, so we're doing number 2. I'm going to go ahead and draw the triangle, but this is kind of optional. If you're a visualizer, do it. If you don't want to, it's fine. So for number 2, draw a little triangle for yourself. Okay, because angle C is supposed to be 90 degrees, I'm going to put it in this corner, but it really doesn't matter. You don't have to draw it to scale. So my C is 90 degrees. Then let's put A at the top. And how big is capital A?
34.
Make sure we're doing number 2.
Oh, my bad.
No, no worries.
46.
46?
46.
And that means that little a has to go across the triangle from big A. So little a is 18, that's gonna be down here. Okay, let's fill in the remaining corners. So if this is big C, then little c goes across from it. Which means that the only corner left for me to label would be B. If big B is here, then little b is here. Okay? All right, so what are the partners that I know both letters? What did we say? A. We're gonna start with A then. So we're gonna do sine of capital A, which is what? 46. Over little a, which is what? 18 equals. Okay, then on the other side, we're gonna put the other letter that we know one of the two, but we don't know both, which is C, right? What was angle C? So sine 90 over little c. So notice it's big A over little a, big C over little c, and we're gonna cross multiply. So I'm gonna start with the diagonal that has the C in it. So I have sine 46 times C. And then the other diagonal, I'm gonna multiply in the calculator, but since this is the first question, I'm gonna write it and then I'm gonna multiply. So it'll be 18 times the sine of 90. Did I set this up right? 46, 18. Yeah. So that'd be 18 times sine 90. Okay, from here, multiply 18 times the sine of 90. Tell me what you get. Okay, it is 18, which is kind of weird, but if you remember from the unit circle, the sine of 90 is 1. So if you times 18 by 1, it comes out to still be 18. We'll review the unit circle more, we'll go back and do it, but just if you put it in the calculator, it's weird, but it is 18, that's correct. Okay, from there, sine of 46 is multiplied with C. How do we get rid of the sine 46 from the front? Divide it, because if it's multiplied with C, we're gonna undo that using division. Okay, then go ahead and put that in your calculator. And we'll know our first missing side. So I got 25.02. That we all got? Okay, so 25.02. Let me show you my calculator here. So it's just 18 divided by sine 46. All good there?
Yep.
Okay, now you'll notice that for my B stuff, okay, I don't know the angle or the side, but if you know 2 angles, really you know all 3, because why? What do we know all 3 of them add up to?
180.
180. So you can have 1 angle or you have all 3. You can't really just have 2, because if you know 2, you automatically know the third. So to find this angle down here, put 180 in your calculator. And then do 180 take away the 46 and the 90. Whatever is left over has to go in this corner down here. So I'm going to do 180 take away 46 take away 90. We have 44 degrees left in this corner. And now that we know capital B, we'll be able to find little b just like the one that we just did. Okay? So I'm going to set up sine 46 over 18. Notice 46 is my big A, 18 is my little a. But this time on the figuring out side, I'm going to put the 44 degrees on top and I'm going to put a little b on bottom. So it'll be sine 44 over little b. Okay. But notice that your actual solving steps are identical. It's just a different number. So go ahead and solve that one for me, please. So you're going to cross multiply with the b side first. So it's sine 46b equals And then for the other diagonal, remember, just actually multiply it out. So it would just be 18 times sine 44. 18 times sine 44. Did y'all get 12.5? Okay. 12.5038. And then if I want b by itself, what's my last step? Divide by the sine 46. Very good. Then your sine 46s are going to cross out and you'll have b equals whatever that number is. Now, one more thing, remember, like when we're doing the logs and stuff, I want you to use this long number. Don't shorten it. That way your answer is always coming out correct when it's rounded. So I'm going to do this number. Remember, you just click on it and then divide by sine 46. So it'd be 17.382. Okay, all good with that? And then your triangle is going to be fully solved when you know all three angles and all three sides. All right, we want to do one more? Okay. Go ahead and look through number 1 all the way through number 9, and I want you to circle the questions that law of sines will solve. So remember, what are you looking for law of sines to be your go-to method?
Number 1.
Okay, number 1, yes, because why? What letter do you have both the big and the small for on number 1? You have both of the C's, very good. Okay, so circle number 1. Number 3, do you have a set of partners where you know the same letter? Okay, no, what about number 4? No, turn the page. What about number 5? Do you have a set of partners?
Yep.
Okay, which letter?
Okay.
Then you can do law of sines, so I'm gonna circle it. Okay, number 6, do you have partners? No?
No.
Number 7? Yes. What letter do you have in common on number 7? Big A and little a. What about number 8? No. And what about number 9? No. Okay, now real quick, I want you to take a look at number 9 closely. Okay, number 9, you have angle B and C. So let me circle those. You have B and C. And then they gave you little a. But if you have 2 angles, how many do you really have? All 3, which means, do you have a match in number 9?
Yeah.
Because you can easily find what capital A is. They didn't give it to you, but you can find it, no problem. So let's find capital A using the 180 minus the other 2 angles. Tell me how big A is going to be. Okay, 75 sounds good. Okay, oops, that's 34 and 71. So 75 is correct. And so now that we've found all 3 angles, we have partners that you can use law of sines for number 9. Okay. So let's go ahead and solve it. Because we're only doing half of the review, you're going to solve all the triangles, ignore the multiple choice. Okay, the instructions are just going to be solve the triangle. And so remember, what that means is you're finding all the missing sides, all the missing angles. So what letter should I start with in law of sines? A, B, or C? A, because A is the partners that I have. So I'm going to do sine of 75 over what? 115. And then I know I'm going to have to find both, but let's just start by finding B, just since we have to pick one. So if I want to find little b, what is my sine number going to be with? 34 over little b. And then from there, you're cross multiplying just like we did on number 2. So I'll do sine 75 times b. equals, and then that other diagonal, you're gonna multiply that out. So in your calculator, what is 115 times sine 34? 64.3. 3071, and remember, we're using the number in the calculator, so you don't have to round it, just use that same value and it's fine. Then what's my last step to solve?
Divide by sine 75.
Divide by sine 75, very good. The sine 75s cross out and little b equals this number divided by sine 75, we get 66.57. 66.57. All right, so far we have capital A, capital B, capital C. We have little a and little b. What do we still need to find? Little c. And remember that if you already now know both of the A's and both of the B's, you could change this to be B's, but I'm not going to because I already know the A's. So I'm gonna keep that sine 75 over 115. The only number that I'm gonna change is what I put C with. What will little c go below? Sine what? 71, very good. So you just wanna make sure that each of your fractions is lined up with the same letter. And then go through and solve that. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna give you some time to work. I'm gonna come around and try and help with any questions. We're not doing any of the areas today. So you're finishing number 9. You're finishing numbers 5, 7, and 1.
5, 7, and 1.
5, 7, and 1, and then we'll go through log cosines. Okay. And if you want me to check and answer, I'm happy to do that. You can just want to wait for 7. I think for your test is only 1. Yes, ma'am. Letter B, using sign. Is this it? Sign 70. Over 15 and 34, it's a B. These are 115 and sign 34. Oh, because you need to divide it by sign. Wait, hold on. Okay, and you're in, do you see where your radian is highlighted? You actually need it to be in the green. And now it should. So now go back to your sine 34, that's 15. What? Yeah, I'm recording. Were you taking this? The mock exam? Yeah, you can just take a little run today. 112, let me check. Are y'all getting 112 for the other answer?
Yep.
Yes.
I got 112.
Perfect. All right, ladies, how we doing? Need any help? Okay, so we're looking number 5, which letter? Okay, so if you sign and big A would be 27. We'll put the 27. So it'll be sign 27. That's your big A. For little A, which is and then you're gonna do a line of big B, over little b, which is what we're looking for. And then cross. Does that make sense? Yeah, your salt's the whole time.
Why?
Huh?
You didn't do anything?
I had to do it on track. Or I was, but I can give you more paper and you can just take one. Yes. So we're doing first half today, second half Monday, and then we do rest to go. Are y'all doing okay?
Finish numbers on, right?
One 15. Oh, okay, let me see if I read it. So do 115 times 971. And then divide by 771.
Like, my weight.
Wait, I wanna see.
Oh, look, you put 71 here instead of 60. So like, since your sine 75 is with the C, this is the one you have. So think about like, this is your multiply diagonal, so it's all numbers, we have to divide. Does that make sense? Y'all make sure we're solving all of those triangles, not just finding one side. No, there's nothing back here. Yeah. So good. We have to go back. Yeah. Oh my God. I have a really. Yeah. And then this is just how you follow it. She did it with the, oh wait, with the. I would be very slow. You cannot do
Yeah, I did, yeah, she would be in. Sure.
Obviously, I would like happy.
We're finding the size. No, we already have to find the measurement. You're supposed to find the measurement for B.
That it's like you
If you
can't
did the math.
do anything.
Yeah, so it's not-
It's like almost everything. Either or.
And then.
He does the big one. He's down. It's like, we have like the 40,000. Yeah. I mean, we don't have money.
Oh.
So we'll be here, you know.
Teacher kid, so what is Susan?
Yeah, yeah. It's also the bad thing from the kids' perspective. Because whenever Ashton, the kid that goes here has homework, I'm always like, see, I tried to respond to it, and she doesn't care, mom. Okay, yeah.
No, I guarantee you she cares.
Oh, yeah.
She
Literally.
cares. And be like, do you care about this?
Wait,
What's
so
up?
when we're studying for this first one, C 9.
So the C is gonna be 9, over the.
I already have it.
Now, but why do you have to hate it? Because really, your sine A should only be partnered with the A on top. So that might have been.
Already have it written.
Colin, where did you have it? All my.
This is on.
So you were already, you weren't my daughter. Why'd you put it?
I just switched to five.
You didn't know Joe was telling you that she was still teaching this class.
Right now.
They were like the
No,
whole
I
third
just like,
quarter.
I had to switch them to.
Wait, is that the teacher that's the one that was there?
Yeah. The one with the packet.
Yeah. Yeah, she was.
I can't understand her.
She already forgot who I was.
Okay, but did you try?
I think it's more hard to understand.
Did you go to tutoring options?
But then
Thank you.
the first series.
I was just like, no.
It also was kind of a weird unit, I feel like. Y'all did the unit circle?
I think my best.
Did y'all do vectors?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
probably not still. We don't know.
Like a bunch of arrows.
Oh, we do.
Hopefully none
Did
of
you
that's
do,
the final exam.
I'm gonna try.
Like the proofs and stuff?
There's always a.
I don't know.
Get out of it.
Well, after we do this test, we're gonna review the more important things y'all should have learned.
That's my point.
You should have learned. To make sure you're ready for calculus. If you know these two, remember, you never only know two. Why do you never only know two? Yes, so do 180 minus those two, and then you'll have the angle to find.
The measurement of the.
Wait, how did you do that work?
Yeah. Right.
You haven't learned anything?
I'm gonna be very.
In 3 months.
In 3 months, I like
And I
lost
learned
knowledge.
You lost knowledge. That's
You should do it again.
No.
You can quiz me right now on any of all this, and I would.
So if I asked you like the sine of 135.
I don't know what that is.
me right there.
It's
No, you can't put it in the calculator.
Oh,
You didn't have the circle?
We did, we just didn't know like this.
You didn't have to memorize it, but if you had the circle, then you would know how to like find cosecant of 225.
I could do it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, then yeah, I know.
I probably read
So
it.
you could do it, or you just
This
think
is
you
all,
Or you didn't know sign?
You could just put 83, it's fine.
I won't.
Because for your test, I'm only going to one decimal.
Oh,
It's scratched it, there's one difference, but wait. You did it, I didn't see.
Did you
When
email?
you're done with the whole.
Oh, okay.
That was-
All the.
You should always be finding free fields. I don't want you found safety, like, yeah, it's right. Cause if they give you 3, you're just finding them. Yes, sir.
I'm no room, bro.
So the next one is. No. What do you like to do? Measure.
Okay, we got the, better. C, we A.
Yeah, they're all right. Good job.
Let's make sure.
Yes, please remember, it's not a 9. Now, for remote, only for 93, which is why one,
I don't remember.
but the other question.
I think we put them. Oh. That's fine.
Doesn't matter.
We need to find A, little A.
You could have just taken them off.
Yeah.
Yes?
Little A.
Will you go get it? The only thing is, I don't have any of the real path. So I'm gonna write it on this notepad, but hopefully they won't give you any crap. What teacher is it? Tom's, okay. Are you doing the state thing next week? So you'll be gone Thursday, Friday?
Is it an answer?
So now it's 10,
90 times.
What's up, the other? Huh? I would be like,
Is Maddie here today? Reagan, both of them?
No, there's one question.
No, you know what? I got like.
That is a restroom instructor.
Yes, sir. We're using that, see it hanging on the board from that magnet?
All you have to do is buy a car. No, because you're not. At least we have more space on the outside.
Sydney's not here today?
Those kids love to be in.
Okay.
Get it? I was.
Yeah.
Colin, did you just get to school? None of your teachers have marked you present all day. Have you been to school all day today?
Yeah, I'm in Al.
Oh.
Just got out of elementary.
So maybe they'll put it in, but.
Yeah, and then. I had crash first period. Did they not mark me?
They didn't mark you absent, they just didn't mark you present. It's weird that
They
just,
probably
but if it's the
just do
same
it.
teacher for both, then they should probably have done it.
It's probably, yeah.
You know? That's okay. So the paper is under her top, it's on that tall
Oh.
white table.
I feel like a problem.
Okay, Lux, here you go. Yes. You do 49, yes. Is that the only thing you found so far? 44 is right, but you still have to find it. Oh, I see it now in 183, yep. All good. Look at you, you learned something for the first time.
I just.
For number 1. 12. Yep, good job.
Oh my God, I actually just.
I did. And the 56 is right. So you just have one thing left to find.
Yeah, which is A. I actually did something. Oh my God.
Wow, you ate. And you'll know why I said that when you solve.
Is it A? It's
A lot of brain power use.
Yeah. Yeah, will you take that girl restroom pads? When.
At least you teach them shit.
You run with them. And you just put it down. And then divide.
Sounded like you were beating back.
Oh, good steak.
And then your other angle should have come out. Right?
Oh,
And then your other side.
You did it wrong. I'm not gonna copy all of that.
So you
Why,
need
why?
to-
Wrong?
So regular. I don't know. No,
I'm making wrong.
process. Oh.
And they do.
Oh my God.
Okay, it's talking. That's right.
Yes, sir.
I can go mark all over.
Which one?
Okay, number one, what was your A? But little.
That's so sad.
8.2.
Oh, I can't.
So let's see, where did you work for that? You did. Is this number one? Your A should have been.
No.
Your D should have been four. Now, have you checked, have you been getting the same numbers as me? I saw them.
Yes, it is. Oh, I wrote one.
So let's look at how you set it up. Oh, you put an 18 in something. Okay, that's what. So maybe you did them right. So change that to a 14.0. And then see how it comes out.
We're supposed to be 10 degrees.
On 183 and I think.
Oh, it's 5. Idiot, that's supposed to be 2 degrees. You did simple math wrong. You did simple math.
We're gonna do all the options. So we're gonna basically do 1 through. So we skipped a few because we have to cover this. So these are ones right. That one we did together. That's right.
We didn't even find B. I know. We didn't see that.
Yeah. You're good.
Where's the other half?
Yes. We're gonna go on to law of cosines in a couple minutes. So you can- Your little a should be 8.2. B should be 12.18, C should be 14.7. Perfect. Very good.
And I'm.
Let me check that out. Okay, number 5, your C should be 183, yep. Your A is 249, and yep. 7, you got 10 for the missing angle, 17.2, and
It's going fly away.
Very good.
14. Obviously. Is it 2?
For number 5, do we have to solve all of them?
The only thing is, I don't have a real gas. I only have this. So I don't know if they'll, huh? Okay, what is left with you? You just don't feel good? Are you trying to go home? You have a headache? Well, then you should say you have enough. Because if you tell me you have a headache, they're gonna say you're I try to sound like a little sick, you know? Alright, good. Been really good. My first day back was yesterday, so. Yeah. It was okay, you know, I hate my A days, so my B days I like much more. But I hope you feel better. Alright, finish up the one you're working on. Okay, so you're still gonna have plenty of time to finish. If you didn't get to all of them, no worries. But the other law, we're just gonna go through that way. If you're just kind of waiting, you can get started on the last bit of this. So go back to your first page. Okay, and we're doing law of cosines. Okay, it's a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. Now, on your formula chart, there are going to be 3 different versions of this exact same formula, but one of them is solved for A, one for B, one for C. They're really all the same though, it's just what letter you're missing. Okay, and you're going to use this one when you don't have a set of partners of the same letter, capital and lowercase. So you don't have partners. Okay. So take a look for me, please, at number 3. Number 3. Okay. And then I'm going to do it on scratch. Okay, but remember, your instructions for every question is you're just solving the triangle. You're not just finding one side, you're finding both since we're only doing half the review. So here's number 3. First question, why can I not do law of sines on number 3? No partners, no partners, no law of sines. So I have my triangle. I'm going to put my A here, which is 51, which means my little a goes across from it, and I don't have that. I'm going to put my big B over here. Don't know it, but my little b is 4. And then I'm going to put my big C at the top, which means that my little c is 5. Okay, so the way that Miss Nixon's notes would have said is this is a side angle side, you got to do law of cosines. But to me, just think, do I have partners or not? Okay, so from here, I see no partners. That means it's law of cosines. Write down your formula. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A. And then we're going to plug the numbers into that. So write it down first so that you know what you were plugging in. Notice that for my little a, that's the one that I'm missing. So I'm going to leave that as an A. What am I going to put where my B is? Okay, so 4 squared plus. Okay, 5 squared minus. Okay, Sellers. Okay, 2, 4, 5. And then for my cosine, what am I plugging in? 51, very good. Okay, now I want you to notice that whatever the numbers are here, you're always reusing the same 2 numbers here. Okay, so if it's a 4 squared and a 5 squared, it's a 2 times 4, 5. Okay, so what I want you to do is put this entire side into your calculator all together. So I have a squared equals whatever that number is, we're putting it in the calculator. And then when you get that number, is that your final answer? Okay, what do we need to still do? Square root it, very good. Okay, so I have my calculator up here to show you what it looks like. Okay, I got 15.827. And then from there, if that's a squared, my final step would be to take the square root. So what is the square root of 15? Remember, you can grab the whole number to put it in the box by just highlighting it and pushing it.
3.97.
Very good. 3.9783. Okay, now remember, we're solving the whole triangle. So let's go to our paper and change the information here. Oh, this one actually says find A. We're going to put solve triangle. So what do we still need to find on number 3?
Angle B.
Okay, very good. Now, in order for me to find angle B, do I have a set of partners or do I have to use law of cosines again? Now we have partners, right? Because what do we have? Now we have little a and we have big A. And as soon as you get a set of partners, you can go back to law of sines, which we already know how to do. Okay? All right, so let's set it up. I'm going to do sine of 51 over 3.97 equals. Those are my A's. And then do we want to find B or C first? It doesn't matter. Okay, let's find B. Then I'm going to put sine B over what number? 4. Because if it's a big B on top, it needs to be little b on bottom because they always are in the same fraction together. Okay, then we're going to cross multiply the side with the letter in it. So I'm going to multiply this one first. So that'd be 3.97 times sine B equals. And notice I can't put that in the calculator because I don't have a number for the B spot. Okay, but the other diagonal, I can multiply that. So in your calculator, will you do sine 51 times 4? Okay, and I got negative 0.4, is that right?
What?
No, that's wrong. What's wrong with how I put it in?
You put it with the sign.
Okay, very good. This is incorrect. You have to do sine 51, close it, times 4, yeah. Okay. So 3.10. Okay, from here, what is my next step to get rid of the 3.97 in the front? Divide by 3.97. Okay, and so from here, we have sine B equals 3.10 over 3.97. Now, I wasn't here when y'all learned this, but how do you get rid of just the sine part? You can't divide the sine out of the way. What do? Inverse or sine to the negative 1. Very good. So sine negative 1 on both sides will give us just B by itself. You cannot divide just the sine part. You have to inverse that to get it to go away. So in my calculator, watch me do it and then you do it so you know what I'm expecting. It's second sine. And then I'm going to take the whole 3.10 number, which is somewhere.
Very bottom.
Oh, thank you. 3.10. And then I'm going to divide that with the 3.9. But see how I'm grabbing the long numbers so I don't have to retype them? And it's 51 degrees. So angle B is 51 degrees. Now, question, will I have to do law of cosines to find the third angle? No, because why? Yeah, once I know 2, I automatically really know 3 because they add up to 180. So do 180 minus 51, 51. Tell me what you get. $78 is correct. Very good.
Learning math.
Okay, are we all good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, there's one more of that we have to go over, and this is the hardest one. So will you please turn to number 8? Number 8. And then since this is the last example we're doing together, let's just try to buckle down. We got one more left, okay? All right, number 8, here we go. Okay, change the instructions. You're solving the triangle. Okay, if you want to draw the picture on this one, you can. Okay, but the first thing that I notice is that I don't have partners. And if I don't have partners, which one am I doing? Cosines, very good. So I'm gonna start with a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A. Okay, plug in your numbers for me. Okay, Alex, are we ready, hun? Okay, so my A is a 12, so that's gonna be 12 squared equals. My B is a 16. Okay, Gabby, we ready? And then my C is a 19. Then when I get to the 2BC, I'm reusing the 16 and the 19. But then my A is the unknown this time. This is the hardest one to solve, but you can do it. So let's go over how to do that. Okay, if I had taught you this lesson, what I would have said over and over again very knowingly is it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. You're gonna do this one number by itself, these two numbers, and these three numbers in your calculator by themselves. So first do the 12 squared. So it's a 1, then a 2 group, then a 3 group. So what is the 12 squared by themselves? 144. Okay, now we're doing the 2 group. Tell me what 16 squared plus 19 squared is. 2, what was it? 617, okay? Minus, and then I have a 3 group. You're doing 2 times 16 times 19. What was it? 608. Okay, from here, the first thing that I'm gonna do is, y'all know I don't like solving with the equals 144 on the left. So I'm gonna gently scribble it out and then put it on the right side. So no more equals 144. I'm gonna put it over here. How do I get rid of the 617 if it's in the front? Minus it is correct. So you're gonna take away 617 on both sides. What is 144 minus 617? Okay, very good. So I have negative 608 cosine A equals. So we got negative 473. Okay, and then how do I get rid of the number in front of the cosine? Divide it, very good. Okay, if it's in front like this, you divide to get rid of that. So negative 608 on bottom. That crosses that out to where now I just have a cosine A equals. And then I have a fraction over here. Do you notice that you have a negative divided by a negative? So how does that come out? Positive. So really it's just 473 over 608. But notice I'm not going to fix the fraction because what am I going to do to get rid of the cosine? Inverse cosine, or the cosine to the -1. So if I need to do an inverse cosine, I can do it on this as a fraction without changing. So in your calculator, we're going to inverse cosine. Remember, that's just the second cosine button. And that'll give me what capital A is. So I'm doing second cosine of 473 over 608. So we got 38.9 degrees. We'll round that to 39. Now, quick question. We're solving the triangle. We know angle A. We still need B and C. In order to find one of those, do I have partners?
Yeah.
Now I do. I didn't originally, but now that I know what big A is, now I've got partners for the A. So that means that now I can do logarithms. Okay, so I'm going to do sine of big A is 39 over little a is 12. And then I'm going to do sine of, do you want to find B or C first? It doesn't matter. Okay, B. So we'll do sine of B over what number? Little b is a 16. Very good. And then you're going to cross multiply just like we were doing before. So my 12 times sine B is going to stay that way because I can't put it in the calculator. But then for the other diagonal, I can type that in. So it's sine 39 times 16. Okay, tell me when you've got that number. Sine 39 times 16, what do we get there? What's this diagonal? 10.06. And then from there, how do I get rid of the 12 in the front? Divide it, very good. But remember, I'm just gonna leave it as a fraction. Because what's my next step to get rid of the sign in the front? Inverse sign. So if sine B equals a fraction, I could just leave it like that because I'm gonna have to inverse sine over there anyways. And so then I'll have angle B. Remember to get to inverse sine at second sine, grab the long decimal, divide by 12. And that comes out to 57 degrees. For the last angle, are we doing any of the laws? No, it's just 180 minus. So your angle B is 57. Then how do we find the third one? Do 180, take away these two, and that'll tell you what C is. So 180, take away 57, and take away 39, 84 is correct. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, last thing I want you to just look at is number 6. Look at number 6. Okay, question on number 6. Do you currently have partners?
Go.
Okay, last little bit here, focus. Gentlemen, ready? Okay, number 6, do you have partners right now? No, but if you have 2 angles, how many do you have? You really have all 3. Then do you have partners? So this one actually is log sines. If you have these 2, then you automatically know how big angle B is. And then you have partners that you could do log sines. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so your goal for today is to finish 1 through 9, solving all the triangles. You still have about 30 minutes. Please ask me if you need any help on 1 through 9. Okay. Yes. Sure.